So, just out of for shits and giggles, I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a quick video talking about my favorite arc in Dragon Ball Z. I was watching some videos of other people talking about their favorite arcs in Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super or whatever, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about that. So a lot of people, if you guys don't know, Frieza is my favorite villain. Frieza is my favorite Dragon Ball Z villain. He's just cold, calculating, well, not cold and calculating, he's just a monster and a bastard. He's cold, but he's not exactly calculating either. He's just like, I'm the best, and fuck all of you. That's Frieza in a nutshell. But the difference is that, I do like the Frieza arc. Don't worry, I do like everything that goes on in Namek. But there's one arc in Dragon Ball Z that I've really come to enjoy, and I've always really had a soft spot for in terms of Dragon Ball Z. And that is none other than and that arc is none other than the Imperfect Cell arc. Now you may be thinking to yourself, of all the story arcs in Dragon Ball Z, of all of them, you're gonna pick the Imperfect Cell Saga, which was pretty much a prelude to everything else? Yeah, it's brief first off, and for a for a saga, that's saying something. But the Imperfect Cell Saga does something in Dragon Ball Z that we haven't seen for a long time, or we hadn't seen up until that point, or probably since. The Imperfect Cell Saga was a game changer in Dragon Ball Z. Goku was still out. Vegeta was still recuperating from, I wouldn't say fight, more like ass-kicking he got from 18. And really, the only real big player at the moment was Piccolo, who had recently fused with Kami. So, you really only had Piccolo, kind of Vegeta, and everyone else. Because the big guns were either on the wounded list, and Goku's not around to be there. Oh yeah, you still have the androids running around. So, the Imperfect Cell Saga also was a game changer in that not only did you have the lesser characters take spotlight after a while, after so long, you also had this whole thing of, doesn't feel like a straight up, the Imperfect Cell storyline doesn't feel like a straight up Dragon Ball Z story where everyone's just fighting and shit. Really, it's more like the Imperfect Cell story is more like a horror story. It's straight up treated like a horror story because Imperfect Cell looks like a nightmare. He just looks menacing and terrifying. And I say what you want, Cell is not one of my favorite villains. Cell is really just, especially semi-perfect. Even perfect form Cell, I'm like, I don't care. Give me back Imperfect, because Imperfect Cell just looks so vastly different than any other Dragon Ball Z villain we had seen up to that point. He just looked like a nightmare to everyone. He just looked... he just looked like a straight-up nightmare to up until then. The only real, big nightmarish character we had was Frieza, and then along comes this xenomorph scorpion cockroach thing that has this hissing voice and knows all the powers of the DBZ characters. Yeah. He was totally different. Even Piccolo was like, oh, shit, this guy's business. And everyone else is like, who is this guy? And on top of that, you still had 17, 18, and 16, the androids running around. And so it was this two-pronged attack, really, when really the only one who could fight them was Piccolo, because Vegeta, even though he had just recently attained the level of Super Saiyan, Vegeta was still kind of recuperating from his battle with 18. And like I said, Trunks was back. You also had Goku was out. Gohan was still training. It really came down to Piccolo, Tien, Krillin, even Yamcha. Yamcha got to do shit. Not a lot, but he got to do stuff. So that was another thing I liked, is that it gave, a spotlight to the other characters in the Dragon Ball Z universe. It didn't just, depend on Goku 24/7. It really didn't depend on Goku at all in that one to carry the story. Because, again, it showed that Dragon Ball Z could carry a story without Goku, like Akira Toriyama originally wanted it to do. Toriyama originally wanted the story to go beyond Goku. That's why we had that whole build-up with Gohan in the Cell games. Of Gohan defeating Cell and basically, showing that, hey, Gohan's the new future protector of the world. But, fan base has its way. What can you do? So that's what I liked about the Imperfect Cell saga, was that it was totally different, because up until that point, they knew what kind of monsters they had been, villains they'd been facing. And then along comes Cell, who's literally draining people into nothingness. Whole cities are being drained into total nothingness by this monster who basically is like, I'm going to consume 17 and 18, and then I'm going to be able to destroy the planet. But for right now, you want to see me drink this guy? Yeah, I just made a Team 4-Star reference. What of it? So that's what Frieza has always been my favorite Dragon Ball Z villain, and I do like the Namek stuff. Of course, the Namek stuff, and whenever Frieza shows up. But for favorite story arcs, I would count that the Imperfect Cell saga, for me at least, it goes from the first appearance of Imperfect Cell all the way, and I wouldn't say it ends until the Imperfect Cell saga doesn't end until he becomes perfect. That whole line is the Imperfect Cell saga for me. I know a lot of people say, oh, you have to call it the semi-perfect Cell saga. See, he was only semi-perfect for like 2 minutes, alright? Cut the shit. So, anyway. So you guys, yeah, my favorite arc, Imperfect Cell. Imperfect Cell story arc. And, hey, Funko, can I get an Imperfect Cell pop figure sometime in the future? I'm kind of waiting for an Imperfect Cell pop. Come on. Is it too much to ask? Anyway. So, you guys tell me in the comments below, what was your favorite Dragon Ball Z story arc, saga in Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super? And also, what did you think of the Imperfect Cell storyline? Just comment below, let me know. And once again, I'm Mr. Multiverse. See you next time in the Multiverse.